The first question is, what is so special about Vrindavan?
Vrindavan is a transcendently beautiful place. The truth which everybody longs for has manifested itself here 5,000 years ago when Sri Krishna appeared to shower the whole world with mercy, knowledge, enlightenment, the path of yoga. Sri Krishna is the master of all transcendental qualities, and he is the master of all yogic powers as well. He's the creator, maintainer of everything which exists. And he's the personal, individual, loving friend of everyone in this world. So therefore, Vrindavan carries a meaning which goes far beyond its beauty and beyond its atmosphere, which can be perceived here by anybody who comes here and sees and feels the devotional atmosphere. It goes very deep into the root of your own heart's quest, finding what is real to life, real to creation, real to your own priorities. And when you come close to Krishna, the Lord of Love, you will see that He is completely ready to receive you, more eager than even you are to get to Him or to find out about the truth. He is the friend of every living entity, and He has come to give us the Bhagavad Gita and all His transcendental teachings because He loves us so much.
Do you really mean to say that Krishna is God?
Precisely. He is the master of Mother Nature. Mother Nature provides, creates, and she maintains. But the divine principle behind everything is the universal consciousness of the Supreme Lord. And He is called Krishna, the infinite attractor of all souls. He is the one who is giving us transcendental illumination in His own words, answering all the doubts of Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, who represents us, the doubting, the curious, the needy souls, who want to get out of the material existence of so many different types of sufferings created from our own body, from other living entities, or from the nature's forces. But Krishna has a solution for everything, and He explains us the work out, the work in of the rules of this material nature, better known as the law of karma. And it teaches us that the solution to all problems is within our own responsibility. When we are taking responsibility for our action, then we become qualified to know something about the Creator and about His rules and regulations. So therefore, if you want to find out more about Krishna, you have to go a personal spiritual path. It is not just an intellectual question which has an answer which will fully satisfy. Because unless you practically, personally decide that you will go the path of the truth, there will be no understanding on what you will experience along the path.
Who am I in relation to God then?
That is exactly what we have to find out. What is our relationship to the one who has created us, who's maintaining us, who's providing for us at every instance, from the breathing to the water to the needs of Mother Earth, who is the kind-hearted friend, the inner guide, who comes sometimes as the inner voice and gives us very good advice, who is calling us to Him. Our relationship with Him, in Sanskrit we call that Nitya Sambandha, is to serve Him, to be thankful for everything He has done for us, and to be compassionate with all those other brothers and sisters in this world who don't have this understanding and that due to that ignorance act in many wrong ways, wrong for their own progress and wrong by doing bad things to others. You see, Nitya Sambandha is something very wonderful. It's a great revelation that you understand that I'm here to become a perfect devotee, that I'm here to become a lover of God and a universal lover of everything He has created. The relationship which I have with Him is the relationship of becoming an instrument of His love, and in this way making my own life perfect. The Supreme Lord, He is so kind that He has given us free will, something of that potency which is part of His own transcendental nature. And He has given this to us for the unique purpose so that we can develop this love which He has deposited within our heart and which is only perfect in our relationship, in our understanding with Him. Because when we want to understand our relationship with all the other people who are surrounding us, we always have to come back to the original part of creation, which means that there is somebody who has given an intelligent design to everything which exists, including our free will, and that this intelligent design is made for the purpose for us to develop the purity, the truthfulness, the compassion, the honesty, which are the pillars for spiritual existence, for a spiritual conscious development. And if we go a little bit deeper into the teachings of Krishna, we find that He's giving us the laws of Dharma, which explain that how in this world a person loses the good qualities. For example, he's losing his honesty due to gambling. He's losing his tendency of compassion due to killing and mistreating animals, eating them. He's losing his spirit of austerity, of doing good in this life to help others due to intoxication, simply egotistic principle of enjoyment at any cost. And he's losing his wonderful quality of finding the truth and making an effort to get out of this material world due to the ignorance, the egotistic principle which has everybody tied in this material existence. So if we study the instructions given by the Bhagavad Gita, the rules of Dharma, we will find that this is very enlivening, and this will create within us an awareness that service to the truth and gratefulness to the plan of the Lord is really the root cause of making us the beautiful beings we are potentially able to be.
Amongst so many religious paths and philosophical ideas, what is so special about Krishna consciousness?
Krishna is the Lord of love. He's teaching us to love every living entity. He's teaching us to develop the very best capacity which is within us. Krishna is not a sectarian personality. He's introducing to us the principle of transcendental consciousness as it is. There's different degrees of transcendental consciousness. The first one is to understand that I'm not this material body, but I'm the spirit soul which is within this body, going through different experiences. Then the next one is that there is somebody who is like a witness. He is like the all-knowing friend of all living entities, and he's the controller of everything. And he has a personal relationship with me. That has been revealed through Krishna in his teachings. And then comes the final, the greatest, the invitation to the spiritual world, which Krishna is expressing in such an expressive, wonderful way, where he's actually inviting us to his world called Goloka Vrindavan. This place here, Vrindavan, is a replica of that eternal Goloka Vrindavan, because Krishna appeared here 5,000 years ago. And there's so many temples and all the atmosphere which surrounds every place here, it is giving us a possibility to meditate continuously on Krishna's sweet will for the whole existence and humanity. So, what is so special about Krishna? Well, he's speaking the truth. He's introducing us into the realm of transcendental relationship and love. And at the same time, he's totally universal, because he's accepting anybody who's teaching us to love God. He's accepting anyone who's giving us help to get out of the illusion of physical existence. And his inner guide, the principle of the spiritual guide which is coming from within the heart, it is also a confirmation to that which you can find in every spiritual path, that there is something, somebody who reciprocates with those who are searching for the truth.
How can we understand Krishna?
We can only understand Krishna through his mercy. That is essential. We pray for his mercy. We try to bring him into our awareness and present our plea before him when we chant his holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. He is giving us a chance to approach him so wonderfully through his holy names. Then again, he comes to us in the help of his devotees, who are always enlivened and who are always compassionate with us. You see, understanding Krishna, it is something identical with self-realization. God realization and self-realization, they go together. So, if the Lord sees from within in our heart that we are extremely eager for that, and that we chant from the depth of our heart, calling for his mercy, calling for his help, calling for his forgiveness for our previous mistakes, then there's no question about it that he's going to respond to us, and he's going to come to us and help us to understand him in a very beautiful way, so that we will actually go forward, go towards him at every capacity or within our capacity. And we will see that he will come and help us again and again, step after step, test after test, but everything is only for one purpose, so that our true discovery of spiritual love becomes a reality.
What is the evidence that the repetition of mantras can help us in self-realization?
The best of all evidences is you have to judge a tree by its fruits. So you have to chant to know it for sure. And what is the fruit? The ripe fruit of the tree of the self-centered person who is ready to go ahead with his realizations as they come towards him in the process of self-realization, is that his ideals are becoming manifest as realizations. His purity, his desire to help us, his capacity to control his senses, and above all the mind, is really something which convinces him at every step of the effectiveness of the mantra. Man is mind, and tra means to liberate. So the mantra helps us to liberate us from the prison house of selfishness, the prison house of lust, anger, and greed. And the mantra is opening us the door to a different world of perception, a world where the priorities are the very goals of our heart, as announced by the instructions of Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita as well. In other words, you find confirmed within your heart what you are hearing from the teacher, what you are hearing from the Holy Scriptures. And that is another deep confirmation and realization. You are not living a contradiction. The path you are going is identical with that goal you want to achieve. And the satisfaction, even though to a minor degree for a beginner, is of that intensity that he has full faith and enthusiasm to go further.
Of all the mantras, which is the mantra you would recommend the most?
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great founder of the path of spiritual love, 500 years ago, he announced that in this age, particular age of iron which we are living, there's really no other alternative than the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. There is no hard and fast rules how to chant the holy names of the Lord. This is the most important thing to consider here, because meditation on the holy names of the Lord is a very personal, a very private thing. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he introduced as the primeval mantra, which is called the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, of which there are several translations. The one which touches most my heart is, "O my Lord, please let me become an instrument of your love." Actually, the Maha Mantra, it is a spiritual dance. It is showing the love which Krishna feels for his internal energy, all the compassion towards all the living entities. And this dance or this mantra has come into focus into this congregational chanting, which you find when the yogis get together and they sing their bhajan and their kirtan, which is an incredible energy, which sometimes it cannot be controlled in any way, and some ecstatic dancing develops into this process. So this mantra, Maha Mantra, has a very great potency, which again can be experienced in that personal meditation as well, because individually on our prayer beads, the spiritual master instructs us to also chant the same Maha Mantra. But besides that, there are so many other ways to invoke the presence of the Lord. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Mantras which bring into our presence the sweet pastimes of Krishna as Govinda, as Gopal, as lover of all souls, Dina Dayal, the most merciful, the most compassionate with those who have forgotten him and have fallen into the existence of mundane activities. So in this way the Maha Mantra is having a very important position, and therefore I also recommend it as the most important mantra to chant.
What is the difference between materialistic life and spiritual life?
Spiritual life is the opening to a world of love, a world of truthfulness, a world of light, whereas materialistic existence is exactly the opposite. It covers us, it makes us frustrated, it brings about so many negative tendencies within us, such as exploitation, such as cruelty with other living entities. It is such an obvious thing that anybody can easily access an understanding that spiritual consciousness is the most desirable for everybody in this world, and that materialism and materialistic education is really going against our own self-interest. Even though they may say, this way you will get more money, you will be more ruthless to take advantage of the different activities and situations of life to benefit yourself. But we believe that this temporary benefit at the cost of my spiritual option of being kind-hearted and to be submissive to this sweet will of God is really a great loss, and that we should do everything possible to have a strong spiritual consciousness. Please don't forget that a spiritual consciousness doesn't mean spiritually irresponsible or material negligent. It also means that within the realm of matter we have to pass our tests and we do have to behave properly. But spiritual energy is so wonderful that it will give us the strength to do the right thing in this material world, to be the proper father, mother, son, student, teacher, whatever duty comes from our spiritual understanding to us. And at the same time, material necessities, they are also covered in the proper understanding as something which comes as a side effect to us.
You started a spiritual family called Vrinda. Could you tell us something about that?
It is a duty of a disciple to somehow or other give the teachings he has received from his spiritual master to other people. For that purpose, I have started this Vrinda family, which is a congregation of ashrams which have come into existence by the enthusiasm of those who Krishna has led into my life. And in the memory of our great spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, we are trying to once again recall his saving grace instructions and to create ashramas. Ashramas are spiritual communities, like something like a yoga monastery, where you can practice spiritual life intensively for some time, and for some few people, maybe all their time. But again, Vrinda as a spiritual family accommodates all the other people also who are married and who are living with their families as well. And we are trying to provide an association where you can get enthusiasm and where you can be connected with the enlightening lectures and projects which are coming from the association with very sincere souls. And in our family we have some sannyasis. They are traveling around the world and they are visiting the centers and they're inspiring people to take spiritual life more seriously. And to tell you the truth, we feel very blessed by our spiritual master to be able to be part of such a family.
We're sitting here in Vrindakunya, in Vrindavan. Maybe you can tell us something about how you got this place, Vrinda Studios, what it is.
Very frequently, and to my great surprise, I'm hearing the commentary that Vrinda Kunja is one of the most beautiful temples and ashrams in all of Vrindavan. When we got here, this place, which was originally constructed by the Manipuri Rani, was abandoned for 20 years, and I had heard from Sanatana Goswami that it was 1,000 times more beneficial to fix an old temple than to create a new one. So I was very eager to find such an abandoned old temple. And when we got Vrinda Kunja, that was, yes, a great joy. And of course then the development of the different reconstructions, they led us to understand that beauty of this great garden and the thousands of tulasi plants, which we should preserve as much as possible. So, and Vrinda Kunja has become an oasis, giving the welcome to devotees who are coming from Europe, from South America, and we have from here also the Braj Mandal Parikrama, which we organize for our visitors. And also very important thing of Vrinda Kunja has been, by the grace of Gopeshwar Mahadev, who is the neighboring deity of this place, is that the World Vaishnava Association has come very much into enthusiasm and existence, specifically when the first president, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, spent a week here in Vrinda Kunja recovering when he had some illness. And we have been able to serve the Vaishnava community in Vrindavan, out of Vrinda Kunja, and that has been really a wonderful experience.
During my time here, I've seen that you eat vegetarian food. And is this something fundamental for spiritual practice?
Krishna is known as Govinda, which means the friend and well-wisher of the cows. Vegetarianism is part of the yoga practice since time immemorial. Vegetarianism means kind feelings for all living entities and not participating in the unnecessary slaughter of them. Besides that, vegetarian diet is very healthy. It is very light and gives, when properly organized, the best foundation for a healthy existence for body, mind and soul. Tolstoy said, as long as there is slaughterhouses, there will also be battlefields. And we strongly believe that the aggressiveness of modern man is connected to his non-vegetarian eating habits. And vegetarianism is easy to practice, and it will immediately change your consciousness, and you will perceive that. Therefore, it is true in the ashrams, in the spiritual communities who are serious about their practices, you will always find that vegetarianism is considered something very basic and necessary for all participants.
Many people want to know about reincarnation and karma. Could you maybe tell us something about that?
Born again and born again. For one who dies, the next birth is certain. And for one who is born, death is certain. The repeated cycle of birth and death has been explained in the Bhagavad Gita as the rule which governs our existence in the worldly existence, in the worldly sojourn of our experience with the different bodies. Karma is the law of action and reaction. It is the principle which teaches us that both the good things and the bad things we do will come back to us in the form of different bodies, in the form of different experiences. So, mistreating an animal most likely will take you to an animal birth, where you will experience equally sufferings. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. As you sow, thou shalt reap. These are universal principles of karma and reincarnation, and they are only clear when you fully understand that we are an eternal soul in temporary bodies. This is an incompatible combination in the long run. Therefore, the soul leaves the body and gathers, according to his merits and bad activities, that karma which will bring his next birth about. All this is made possible by Lord Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, under the guidance of the Supreme Lord, who is the one who has the last word in everything. So karma and reincarnation is really the just answer, which gives all of us a chance, and all of us puts all of us in the same position of being responsible for what we are doing. And at the same time, it is always giving us a chance of repentance. So karma and reincarnation come into its climax when we ask for forgiveness, when we ask that the negative things we have done in the past may not obstruct our path towards light and truth. And then, when we approach the Lord for help, we start chanting His names. These negative things are forgiven, and we actually enter into the spiritual amnesty, which makes it possible to even get out of the cycle of repeated birth and death, and to return to the spiritual world, and there receive a spiritual body which enables us to have a personal, loving relationship with God. And it's a very high goal. Nevertheless, that is the goal, and it can be achieved by the grace of the Lord. So karma and reincarnation are fundamental elements to teach us that our real goal, our real path, must go back to home, back to God, and back or to the love our soul longs for so much.
Why is it so important to have a spiritual master like a guru?
Well, a teacher is the most natural and logical conclusion if you want to find out about something which has been previously unknown to you. We all have an intensive spiritual intuition, and as a matter of fact, we have a spiritual master inside of us. He is the super soul, the Paramatma. But he, when he sees our spiritual eagerness arise, manifests in our life through the Guru the common cause, the transcendental cause, the goal to fight for and to develop a real service attitude. We serve God by serving the Guru. We serve the Guru by serving our God brothers. We serve our God brothers by serving the people in general. We serve because we are servants. And that is being manifest all around what the spiritual master is given in our practical life as tangible goals to achieve: serving others, enlivening others, enlightening others. And the spiritual master is not independent. He teaches what the great sages have taught in the past, what the Holy Scriptures confirm, and what those who practice spiritual life seriously will also practice and confirm through their own life and testimony. So the spiritual master is the best friend we have, because he actually cares for our spiritual upliftment. And therefore, in the words of Srila Bhakti Rakshita Maharaj, one of my spiritual masters, he said that when there is eagerness for finding out that which has been beyond our vision, then we must search for the help of a qualified teacher. And he will come by the grace of God.
What will protect us from choosing someone who's disqualified to be our guide in our spiritual life?
You see, everybody in this world, he has his own criteria. And as he goes ahead in a search for light, in a search for the truth, he is getting more and more understanding. If for some reason a person chooses somebody as his guide who is not qualified, that will be revealed to him in a short time, and he will be able to go further. You see, sometimes a wrong road is chosen for us to understand where is the right road to go. According to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it is the duty of every soul individually to knock personally at the door of the truth and to find out what gives myself this inner peace in my spiritual quest. And then again, there is also the karma. Sometimes we will be tested by our karma, by our things we have done in the past. But whoever is going to be our guide, he will have to satisfy our inner thirst. He will have to satisfy the expectation given by the scriptures regarding a spiritual master. And as Srila Narottam Das Thakur explained, Guru Shastra Sadhu Vakya Chitete Kordiya Aikya. A spiritual master is tested by his own spiritual tradition, by the Holy Scriptures, by the people who practice spiritual life seriously in this surrounding, and by the feelings you have in your own heart. So simply go ahead with stern determination, and if there's any suffering or any lesson to be learned, which is there ahead on your path, then also learn that lesson, but never give up the path to the truth, and that will qualify you to find your eternal spiritual guide.
The things you said now gives a lots of things to think about. Can you say something maybe to each individual, like how he can progress in spiritual life?
Individually, we are all needy. And because of that need for love, we are desperately searching around all over where to find something which can fill that thirst, that inner thirst. Generally in this material world, we are hoping to find such a husband or wife or intimate friend who will never let us down and who will give us always enthusiasm for our existence. But the truth of the matter is that this material world will not supply you with satisfying individuals. You want to be loved, but how lovely are you yourself? You want the truth, but how truthful are you yourself? You want to go to the perfection, but how many imperfect things you want to drag along? It's time for you to find out with all your determination where this love is which our soul longs for. And you will come to the same conclusion that it is not in the world of matter. Here we are tested, here we can do wonderful things to grow, but this is not the place to find our eternal love. Our eternal love is there with Krishna and with his pure devotees, and serving them and serving other people. That will bring us there to the world of love. The spiritual master, which has come to the West to give us the most enlivening and the most enlightening instruction, is His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. His teachings, his books, they are so unique, and they have opened spiritual paths to thousands and millions of people in this world, and they still keep opening the eyes to anybody who simply reads his transcendental writings. And he has given us the responsibility to each and every one become determined and to act according to our own inner realization. And by doing so, without the doubt, we will reach that world, that realm where Krishna is waiting for us, and where we will understand that each and every one of us are brothers and sisters eternally, and that we should act in such a way that all of us can come back home, back to Krishna, the most fastest way possible. And this spirit is really the best help for becoming strong in spiritual life. Compassion for others. There's a very nice shloka in the scriptures which says, Sarve Shukenu Bhavanti, that we should always act in such a way that all the others coming in contact with us, they will become happy in spiritual consciousness. That should be our goal.